Let's talk a little bit about my story. My story begins back in high school when I was a sophomore. I was loading some heavy band equipment, and I was chucking it to someone who was in a school bus higher up than I was. At the time, I think I thought I was Superman because I was somewhat buff and had a pretty good body. Not that you could tell now. But anyway, at the time, I was just chucking stuff, and some of these things were odd shaped and extended pretty far away from my body, and created a lever. If you know anything about physics, levers are powerful, and they can break bone apparently. Because I broke my back, I ruptured a disc, and I injured my spinal cord at that time. I didn't know that, and so my mom took me to a chiropractor who apparently did not take an x-ray, because if he'd seen the x-ray, he would not have tried to adjust me. And when he tried to adjust me, I jumped off the table and told him to leave me the hell alone. I think it was something a little bit more strongly worded, because it hurt like hell. So I wore a back brace and I just let it heal on its own. I assumed it was a muscular type problem, but it was actually skeletal. I'd broken my back, and it kind of set over time. Again, I was in pretty good shape, and so it healed. I was young, and I always noticed just something was a little off. When I'd wash dishes, I'd have my hands extended away from my body, and I would feel something a little uncomfortable in the middle of my back. The injury was actually to the thoracic spine, which is the middle back. And it's kind of the no man's land of backs. Everybody specializes on the lumbar, which is the lower, or the cervical, which is the neck. But the lumbar or the thoracic is the place you do not want to get hurt, because nobody can really help you if you get hurt there. I found that out later. I didn't know that at the time, but I just felt something was off when I would extend my hands away from my body. And I kind of get it from both directions. So hurting your middle back stinks because you get it from above and below. And so it's not a good place to hurt yourself. So anyway, that went on. I was pretty stable for quite a while and able to do whatever I wanted. For the most part, I could lift weights, I could run, and do whatever. And then around 1997, about the same year that I got married, shortly after I got married, I was in a car accident. The accident wasn't particularly bad, but it became sort of the genesis of reawakening this injury. I had whiplash, and I went to get treated for whiplash at a chiropractor's office, but of course he was going to adjust my whole spine. So he started monkeying around with everything. Sorry about that, I was interrupted. Let's pick up where I left off. So we're talking about the chiropractor and the car accident. So the chiropractor started to, in order to fix my neck, apparently he had to manipulate my whole back, and ended up destabilizing the injury in my middle back. And from there, I was kind of set on a course that I couldn't recover from. I never got back to that state of stasis that I had before the car accident and the chiropractor. What also didn't help me at this time was I had an MRI done of my spine, but it was only my lumbar, my lower back. And so that came back clean. And so I thought I was nuts. I still didn't have imaging of the injury to my middle back. And so I was feeling a lot, and everyone was basically just saying, no, there's nothing wrong with you. So I guess this is one of the lessons I learned along the way, which is to trust yourself. If you're hurting, there's a reason. And if people are telling you it's not happening, they're the crazy ones, not you. You'll find the evidence. It just takes a lot of time and patience. So eventually I did get my thoracic spine MRI'd, and then I could say, oh, I'm not nuts. I actually am injured. It's a serious injury, and I've damaged my spinal cord. That gave me peace of mind, but it didn't really allow me to do anything about it, because again, it's not operable. So I went down a litany of rehabilitative strategies and techniques. If it exists, I've tried it at least once, and most likely twice, or sometimes 3 times. So I've really, over the years, I spent so many thousands of hours and so many thousands of dollars trying to rehabilitate my spine, that I've kind of lost track. I've been keeping records to a certain degree, but if I had all the records, I'd probably be even amazed at how much stuff I've done and how much I've tried. And the reason I say that isn't to make you feel for me necessarily. It's to just show you that, and to tell myself, you know what, I'm actually pretty strong, because I have tried and fought very, very hard to get better. One of the things you have to deal with a chronic injury is wondering, am I weak? Am I forgive my French here, a pussy, because in my mind, that's kind of what was going on. I was thinking, hey, you're a wimp, right? You don't have any imaging to support this, or even when I did have the imaging, um, maybe I shouldn't be hurting as much as I am, but I was. And the evidence for that is just how many things I've tried over the years, how often I've tried to get better, and all of the efforts energy I've expended, and the efforts I've made. It's a huge catalog. And so I think I'm getting a little derailed here, but getting back to my story, there's a laundry list of things I did to try to get better. But I learned little by little as I did these things, kind of what sets me off, what doesn't, what I can get away with, what I can't. I picked up some new techniques along the way, new strategies for coping with pain. So all of it was educational, and all of it's been helpful to get me to the point that I'm here at right now. The next significant phase of my treating my injury had to do with my mind. So the worst part about breaking something in your body and having it hurt all the time is eventually it breaks your brain. So your mind will suffer. I did have some depressive tendencies that manifested in my teenage years in high school, but those became much more severe when I coupled them with pain. So again, pain will exacerbate anything you might be intrinsically geared to feel, and this definitely brought out my depressive side, and that culminated with me at one point self-admitting to a psychiatric hospital. I can talk about this now, but at the time, the first time I went in was one of the scariest, most humiliating, and difficult things I've ever done. I knew what I was surrendering my liberty, and it was humiliating, absolutely humiliating. But the only thing worse than doing that is doing nothing and falling completely down, letting your family down, not getting better, not admitting you have a problem. And this is another thing I did that actually helped me realize I have some stones, because a lot of people won't go into one of those places on their own. They go when they're taken there because they've already done something extreme to themselves. But I'm not that kind of guy. I try to fight, and I can tell when I'm in over my head and I get the help I need. There's no shame in that. So this first time that I was admitted to a psychiatric hospital, self-admitted, started a cycle of sorts where every 2 to 3 years, somewhere in that time frame, I would again try very hard, fight, and feel at some point like I wasn't getting anywhere, fall down, and readmit myself again. And this happened 3 times. And this last time when I came out, I really wanted not to repeat the cycle. I don't want to be a pattern. I don't want to be predictable in that way. I wanted to find something that would help me get better all the way. And I think I've found something that's changed. It's a game changer, a total game changer. And it has nothing to do with rehabilitating my spine, even though that is my end goal. I need to get that pain under control so that I can lead the best life that I possibly can lead. But what this thing does is it changes your brain. It allows your regions of your brain to talk to each other that can't otherwise do it. In essence, it drops barriers, it drops walls, and lets your brain work things out on its own. It's like condensed therapy. The key word here I'm looking for is psychedelics. So I had a friend that I met the last time I was in psychiatric hospital who I friended her on Facebook, and I noticed that everything was getting better for her and over time, and she seemed to be healing. And so I kept looking at this going, either she's a great faker or there's something to what's going on here. She's actually found something that's helping her, and I want to know what that is, if it's real. Turns out it was real. She had fallen in with a group down there, and they had a religious ceremony where they administered a plant called ayahuasca. Usually you can only get this down in South America, but since 2005 in the States, it's legal in a religious context. And so she invited me to come down and try this, and I was nervous. This is completely outside the realm of anything I'd ever tried, but it was eye-opening. It was the most grueling and difficult thing I've ever done, bar none. I felt like I was emotionally naked, like all the barriers in my brain had come down, and my mind was literally having a battle royale inside, and I was working out all the stuff that I couldn't work out, and for any number of reasons, whether it's your ego won't let you feel certain things or won't let you talk about certain things, all that goes away. And my brain just battled internally for, I did it 2 nights. And the effect was just so compelling. I call it a high contrast event, where I could see the person I wanted to be and I could see the person that I was. And I could credibly see that the person that I wanted to be was me. Like that was the guy I wanted to be. And it was, that vision of myself was so compelling that I knew I could get there. I'm like, I want to be that guy again. I don't want to be this other guy that has all this bolted on crap from the years and years of struggling and failing. That guy, he's somebody else. I want to be the guy that I can see this clear vision of. And I mean, the immediate effect the next day was it felt like somebody had taken a mountain off of my shoulders and off my brain. I felt liberated. I felt free. I felt like I was the dad and the husband I was always supposed to be. And that initial euphoria and feeling of light lasted for quite a while. And but there are longer term effects that I've been experiencing, which is I just feel different. It's the vision that I had that day is so compelling that it still affects my behavior now. I've literally changed so many things about the way that I'm interacting with the world. I'm much more open. I'm much more transparent. There is no way in hell I could have made this video and discussed these types of topics in a public forum 3 months ago. I would have died. I would have crawled under my bed and I had an anxiety attack. And in fact, I might still do that once I'm done filming, but I don't think that's going to be the outcome because I realized I have knowledge here that can help someone. Everything I've experienced is something that might be able to benefit another person. And if I need to expose that to the world and share it in a public way that might not make me look the best, and it helps somebody, game on. That's all I need to know. And I feel like my doing this is what's going to help me get better because I'm publicly out there. I've told all my friends, my family. This is on the internet. Even my coworkers, some of them have access to it. So I'm all in now. Like I am not going back. The new Jason has arrived. The new Jason is worth fighting for, and I'm going to fight for him with everything I have. And again, I'm going to do whatever it takes. If that means more psychedelics, more psychedelics. But I will heal. I will get better, and I will share this story and my strategies with everyone. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. And how I got to be where I am right now. And from this point forward, I'm going to share daily videos of my experience and share some of the insights that I have. I've been doing this on Facebook to a degree, but I'd like to start sharing all of those insights with you on a daily basis. And some days I may not have any insights. It just may be I feel like garbage and I almost feel like I can't get out of bed, but I'm going to do it anyway. That's fine, but there will be some days where I have really good insights because I'm meeting people in this journey and they're allowing me to see new ways of being and new treatment options that I hadn't considered. They're just kind of popping out of the woodwork at me. And so I want to share what I'm learning from them and what I'm learning about myself as I go through this journey openly with you in the hope that it will help you as well.